cover that.
Absolutely.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to meet as a city, as elected officials, and please bless and guide us as we go through our discussions and business tonight, that we can work together and work in the best interest of the city and our citizens. And we pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, I'll ask for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now we'll open our meeting with public comment. Public comment is a chance for you to address or bring forward an issue that may not be on our agenda tonight. Yes, come forward. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address so that we know who you are, where you're from.
My name is Louis Hepworth.
Okay.
At 1946 West, 3000 South.
Okay.
About two or 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember what, we had some neighbors move into a property by ours. We are R1 zoned.
Okay.
They started at the time, they have a half an acre, which allows them to have 40 points. They started adding animals, first to 2 ducks, bunch of chickens, then went 2 goats or 4 goats, and now 2 pigs. So right now they're up to 250 points. In the summer, they were kind of raising chickens and they're like 350 points.
Okay.
I tried to go in the city several times and they said, well, we can't do anything about it. So I went to, they said you have to go to animal control. I went there, talked to them 4 or 5 times. They finally called me Monday and says, on the agenda this coming 2 weeks from now, this property is going to come on the agenda to get something changed so they can have their animals. So I just wanted to be here and give you pre-notice. The other people over here to the community place said they come in here and talk to you about that so that you know what's coming up. So the house that's in by mine is completely surrounded by residences. So it's not like they have pastures beside them or whatever. Right now they have about 250 points. They don't seem to want to do anything about it. In fact, they're coming here to try to change the law or change voting or zoning or something. But where the animals where they exist are on a piece of property that's 85 feet by 100. That's the total area that where all these animals are, which is 6 feet from my house. So I just hope that when they come this next visit, that you have enough wisdom to say we can't have these small animal farms in the middle of residential areas.
Okay.
If you change the rules, they'll start popping up all over the town, and we don't want that. Just a quick look so you can just see. Don't take a second if you want to look at this. This shows. The green is where the animals are. 85 by 100 feet.
Do we keep this?
You can get it.
Okay.
And my property is now 6 feet from where the ground.
Okay.
So only about 40%. That could easily be taken care of with 2 goats and 10 birds. That's 40. At one time they had 4 goats, 2 pigs, and about 25 chickens. That was last summer. So I'm hoping that when next week comes, you use some wisdom and keep the rules the way they are, so we don't have little farms popping around up in Syracuse. Any questions?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a Q&A.
Oh, okay. I just wondered if you had any questions, but anyway, so that's all I need.
Can he restate his name and address?
Oh, it was, who's not mine?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Louis Hepworth, Louie, Hepworth, HEPWORTH, 1946 West, 3000 South.
Okay. So I am going to do this, Mr. Hepworth. I'm going to ask the city tonight to get back to me on why code enforcement referred you to us, because we do have code enforcement in the city.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
my point is I'm going to follow up on that
Right.
because you should be able to just go to,
Yeah, it's the
our
people in
code
community
enforcement.
development.
I understand.
Yeah, they had animal control call me and say, next week, there's going to be a meeting on this property. So you best come in.
Okay, I'm
That's
not aware of
right.
that and I've already been reviewing next or 2 weeks agenda, so
All right. Thank
I will follow up.
Thanks for your time.
Okay. Shane, you just walked in. Do you have public comment tonight? Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and close public comment, seeing that there's no one else here at the moment. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. We have minutes from December 6th, Board of Canvas meeting. That's of particular interest as our two newest council members, which I failed to recognize. We do have two new council members tonight and we welcome them to our meeting. We're excited to have you on board. And then we also have December 6th work session, and we also have December 12th regular business meeting. Is there anybody has any corrections to those minutes?
Actually, I had to read them this time. I'm so brokenhearted about it that,
Nominated yourself to be in charge of.
no,
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. The next item is proposed resolution R 24-01, authorizing the mayor to execute the attached interlocal agreement or interlocal cooperation transportation project reimbursement with Davis County. And just to give you a real quick preface, this is what we've been working on with the third quarter grant funding. It's finally approved through the county. We just have to accept it. It'd be quite embarrassing if we didn't at this point. So if there's any discussion, we'll have that. Otherwise, we need to just authorize the acceptance of these funds. I'll take a motion.
Well, don't rely all on me, Paul. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve proposed resolution R 24-01, authorizing the mayor to execute the attached interlocal cooperation transportation project reimbursement agreement with Davis County.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. The next one, item number 5, proposed parameters resolution R 24-02, authorizing the issuance and sale of more than $4,500,000 aggregate principal amount of secondary water integration revenue bonds, series 2024, to be issued in one or more series with such other series or title as may be determined. I'm not going to keep going, but basically we have to deal with these water bonds. So Steve is here to give us a little overview of what that is.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is just a parameters resolution for a bond issuance. It sets the maximum amounts. So the 4.5 million is not what we intend to borrow, but it does set the maximum amount allowed that the council is comfortable with, as well as interest rates. I believe it says 2% in the parameters resolution. We anticipate with the Board of Water Resources, it'll just be a 1% interest rate. The reason why we're doing this is we do have our secondary meter conversion project underway. It is estimated to be a $16.4 million project in total. Of that, 11 million, about 11,500,000 we're actually getting grants for, which leaves us just under 5 million for the city matching funds. With the interest rates being at 1%, we're recommending a bond issuance where we can take advantage of a low interest rate. We can actually invest that money and earn more in PTIF while we hold that money and draw down over time. We do have to use these funds. I believe the grant goes through the end of 2027. The state mandate is 2030, in which we have to have all metered connections in the city. So we're working on those. I believe we're doing 1 or 2 a day. I'm not sure how the winter's going, but when I say 1 connection, it's actually 2, because if you remember, each home it splits and goes into 2 different homes, or each connection 2 different homes.
And this we're doing all in-house with Public Works.
Yes, we've
Yeah.
hired people.
So we have 4 full-time employees that we did hire to do solely this program. As of right now, we're not getting a lot of meters in, so a lot of it's prep work, digging holes, setting the connections, getting ready. So when we do get the meters, we can just put them in. I believe we've spent close to $1 million on this project so far. And we are utilizing the grant reimbursement as well. So this is the first step in approving the bond. The next step will be setting a public hearing for the 1st of February, or the first meeting in February. We had to send out some notices to all the residents in the city. We did that through the utility bill. We've had about 90 people respond to that out of 10,000. And I'd say a third are in favor and 2/3 are not in favor. Mostly because they don't want us to raise rates or pay for metering services. I think they enjoy the non-metered service. We do plan to have a meeting on the 23rd just to discuss this more in depth. So if any residents want to come and listen to that, we can go through it in more detail. That's all I have at this time, Mayor.
Okay, so I want to be clear that what we're voting on tonight is the parameters of the bond. We are not actually bonding. That will take place through more process. But I do want to say I've had a couple of people reach out to me about this, concerned, and one group asked me, why can't we put this off? We can't put this off because, as Steve said, it is a state mandate that has to be completed by 2030. And there are a lot of meters. The majority of the city has not been metered because it's always been an issue that our citizens didn't want secondary metering. The other thing is that we do have to have this done, so we have no choice but to go forward. So anyway, I understand people would like to still say no to water meters, but it's not a choice we have anymore. So,
Mayor,
yes.
and if I could just clarify, maybe for the new council members, the PTIF is the Public Treasurer's Investment Fund, which is a state managed investment fund where we can put our public money, including some of these proceeds, to earn interest while we wait to use it.
And the key there is that as Steve mentioned, we're waiting on product. Everybody in the state was mandated at the same time. So you can imagine the rush on water meters. So, we're all kind of waiting on product to get this done. And then let me further explain, because we have two new council members. 2 years ago, we decided that what we would do was hire our own people to do that. And they would be city workers. That way we didn't get conflict of, having to go transfer to another job or may not come back. We figured there was so much work to be done in our city, it justified workers. And we actually, our estimate is we justified 4 positions and we still might not make it. So we are working as hard as we can to get this done. And I'm grateful to those in Public Works for braving the storm and doing this job day after day. So anyway, so this is a parameters resolution. If anybody else has got anything to say about it, I welcome that discussion now.
Great, there's nobody here.
It's okay. You're fine. You're fine. I was just not sure if you were going to,
There will be a protest period that will start tomorrow and run for 30 days.
Yeah.
And that will be public noticed as well.
and we will likely get some protest. What the key that you need to understand when you talk to citizens is this is a state mandate. This is not a city initiated.
It's not optionated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any real, it's something we have to do.
Yeah.
This gives us a bond at a great interest rate. And so I don't have any
I-
issues or objections.
I'm not sure I would have voted to mandate or to put meters everywhere. I don't have that. That was taken away from us. So.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no further questions, I will take a motion.
Oh, this is number 5, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just reading it.
Just need the first part.
Good. I move that we approve proposed parameters resolution R 24-02.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 6, consideration and proposal to declare surplus a generator located at the police station, ice skates and synthetic ice skating panels, and appliances and salvage materials from the home that we just purchased. Do we, does anybody have any questions about this? Because we don't have to go.
I
into
thought the
that.
ice skates were
I-
funny.
I just had a question. Are we talking about we're not talking about the house that we just purchased?
No, not the house. This would be
I'm like-
I know that in that action item, it said real estate. It wasn't the house. No. It's the whatever is of value in the house. And I've identified there's some brand new appliances they put in there as the range with the hood, dishwasher and a refrigerator.
When is that? Are we not renting that out? When is that scheduled to be demoed?
It has not been scheduled to be demoed, but we have not technically made a decision whether we rent it out or not. I would not recommend it just because there is a odor inside the house of like wood rot. And I think there would be a bigger liability to the city to
I
rent
was
it.
gonna say, if we're gonna rent it, we probably want to surplus everything.
Do we have any departments that could use in our, I know the police department just got a brand new fridge though, but do any of the other departments need?
That's a
that?
good call.
Like, are there any departments in the city that can use that equipment? Fridge, microwave, stove?
Possibly so. And we would certainly check in-house first. And if there's no needs already in the city, then we can put it on, Shar would put it on the
Surplus
auction
auction.
site where she would just auction it off when we would get high bids.
Okay. We
Ice
could make that
skates.
part, well, we could make that part of the motion that we will look in-house for uses of anything that comes out of the home. I think it's a good idea to try and recoup any or costs that we can out of equipment that's in there.
Yeah.
I will comment briefly on the ice skates.
That's funny.
That is before my time on council, but I did live in the city when we tried that. It didn't go well. I mean, besides that, it didn't have a lot of rental. It's synthetic. It's not ice. You go and spray a goo on this surface, and people complained that when they fell, they got up all gooey instead of.
Okay, but
actually-
was it legitimately one pair of ice skates or is there more?
Oh, no, there's more.
Oh, okay, because I was like, I thought there was only one pair. I was like, why do we
There's-
go to the museum?
In the description, there's about 8 boxes, which is approximately 40 pair.
Oh, okay, I skipped it right down to the ice skate rink itself. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about even expanding the rink, but there wasn't an interest the year that we
I heard
did
it's
it.
not good.
It
yeah.
wasn't. That's my opinion. I know that others may have had a passion for giving it a try, but I think it didn't work out well.
What year was that?
That would have been 2015 or 2014. What they did is they set it up. The first year they set it up, it had to be 14 at least, because it was years before I was on the.
It's where the Cafe Zupas is now.
Yeah.
That was the first year. The second year it was
And there
over
was a
at,
tent, then you
the-
rent ice skates there, and it was done as a
Yeah.
private venture. Anyway, I'm happy to be done with this. I thought it was gone already.
it's taken up space in Public Works
Yeah.
shop that we could use for other
I'm happy to
equipment.
give you that back, in my opinion. But is there anything else here? We've got a bigger generator, so selling the old one is a good idea.
Do we just need a?
We just need a motion to consider these surplus items so that we can go forward.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal to declare a surplus generator located in the police department building, ice skates and synthetic ice skate panels and appliances and salvage materials in the home located at 1939 West, 2700 South. But we will first check and see if there's any need within the city for those appliances.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey, we could probably use that generator for the public safety open
In the middle
house.
of the vote. Any
Sorry.
opposed? Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
I just heard aye all the way down. We were good.
Okay, so that's a good point.
Yeah.
If we have a use somewhere else, we can consider that as part.
It's not portable, so.
It's not,
Oh,
okay,
well, never mind then.
all right. All right, so thank you for coming forward, because our next item is the council's approval to try again for the SAFER grant. Unfortunately, we were not awarded the SAFER grant this past year, which would have been really great for the city, but the chief would like us to give our consent to go forward again and try.
Yeah, this is not a vote. It's just to consent from the council. Part of the Safer Grant application asks if I have the support of our governing body for.
And since
The
we have a
second-
new council, we'll ask again.
Yes, so that's it. I think there's quite a bit of information in the council brief. If you have any questions, or especially for the new council members here,
How much feedback do they give us on why we weren't approved?
that's extremely difficult. I've been trying. So I got a hold of the region rep who's in Denver. And I'm working through some hoops to try to figure that out. They sent me to a turn down webinar. They called it the turn down webinar because we were turned down. I went through that, I know, and it didn't really give us much information. It gave generalized information, but nothing that we didn't already know. And I don't have anything specific.
Loser.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I already felt bad enough we didn't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd like to try again for this next year. The reason why that I'm bringing it up now is because it's a short application window that will open anytime between now and March timeframe. And so I wanted to get this approval from the council before that opened up.
We like free money.
Well, we need the staffing. So exactly what this is set out for is what we need. So any other questions? So I'm going to just ask for your nod, just quickly. Do we have the support from the council with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so
Awesome.
you have full support of the council that's here. I also will recognize that Councilman Savage was able to find a phone after his plane was diverted and has joined us. Thank you, Jordan, for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we are now to public comment at the end of our meeting. There is no one who has risen to the occasion for public comment, so I'll close public comment. Now, the last item on our agenda is mayor and council announcements. I realize that we have some new council members that have not yet received assignments, so there won't be much to say on those accounts. But typically, what council announcements is an opportunity for you to report on assignments, information that you bring back from your various assignments on the council, and any announcements of events in the community that you might be aware of that would be supported by those groups. So, do you have anything you'd like to share with us, Councilman Robertson?
Not tonight.
Okay,
Nothing from me.
okay. Paul?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Jennifer?
I just want to recognize our chief of police right now because today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So please pass on our thank yous to all of your officers for all the ways they contribute to our community. That's all I got.
Okay. I do have one item that does need to come before the council tonight. And this is in regards to an assignment that I have been fulfilling as mayor. I'm on a county homeless committee trying to deal with the new state mandate that all counties have homeless services, which we really do not have in Davis County. The reason I come before you tonight is only because the other mayors have all said they're going to their councils to decide if they have support from their councils based on our latest recommendations. The recommendations that we have, we understand that we don't have any ongoing homeless services that count according to the way the state credits them, which means that things like Safe Harbor, which actually should count, doesn't count because it's not universal. Other services that are privatized don't count. So we have an obligation to provide a number of beds available in the county whenever there is a code blue. A code blue would be a temperature so low that a homeless person could possibly freeze that evening. We don't want people to die from being frozen to death. That would be horrible. So anyway, the point is that we have wrestled around with, could we acquire an old building and renovate it? Could we find other means of shelter? We have dealt with this for more than a year now. And the current plan is to go to the state and say, we really need funds if we're going to build something that would be permanent, because we expect this isn't going away and we don't have anything that could be a temporary basis. So the question would be, council, do you concur that we need state funding, and that if we had state funding, we should probably look to build something rather than continue to find temporary solutions? Many temporary solutions have been considered. There was a program where the vouchers were given to homeless to stay in local hotels. That's not gone very well. The insurance problems that have come with that, and I guess Utah County completely had to renovate a hotel because that was used that way. Again, we've looked at possible sheltering sites, and there really doesn't seem to be anything. There isn't a facility that we know of available. So
Have there ever been any temporary structure or that
no,
we've set up ever?
not in the county. No, if you want to help, to get more aware of our problem, there is later this month, and it would be after our next work session, so I'll get you all the particular information. There's a time we do a homeless canvas where people actually go out with some gift bags and try to find the homeless so that we can get some kind of survey. It's a national program, and it has to be done on one specific day. I believe it's the 29th. I have it in my calendar. I'll get it for you, but
It's usually very cold.
it is, it
When
would
you
be
go
a
out that
long,
night.
cold night, but
So I have a question.
go ahead.
Have we looked, and I know this is, if we're looking for an open space, like you said, building, renovate, something like that, because it would just be a temporary, at least temporary for emergency purposes. Have we looked at the Freeport Center? Because Lifetime just moved out of the majority of that far west or northwest or northeast block up there. And they're having a hard time filling those spaces. So, and I know one of them's at the very northeast side of the Freeport Center, down by that H Street stoplight.
I will take that back and see if we can find more information. We have looked at a couple of places that could possibly be renovated in the Freeport Center, and it didn't seem like it was a good fit for the state requirements, because we have to be near mass transit. We have to be near medical facilities. We have to be within walking distance of mental health providers and within walking distance of some source of job support, if not next to mass transit, which is also is
Right up
one of
over
the
the
other.
bump in Clearfield though, right? It
Yeah, it is actually.
down that 25-mile-an-hour road that everybody gets pulled over on.
Yeah. Yes. That's a good point. The
Yeah,
job
that's just
services
hop,
are in
skip, and a
Clearfield.
jump. I could walk that far.
We looked at a site between the hospital or back behind the Davis Hospital, because it's within walking distance to the job services. It's within walking distance to the hospital and services. Be a great site, but it would require eminent domain. The seller was not
Oh,
agreeing to work with us.
yeah.
We'd
that's
have to
not-
condemn the site.
I
We
feel
don't
like
want to
that's
do that.
something, this is something that would probably have, it's in an industrial complex too. They're always looking to hire people out there. But I feel like this is something that's
I think
gonna
it's a
have
good
to end up
idea.
staying in an industrial area almost, because there's so many people that don't want this near them. And you said before, mayors have veto power,
We
right?
do.
So
Yes.
that's another 100 million issues all on its own.
Yeah. I'm going to take that back to committee. I think it's a great idea, but we have yet to find one. We did look at Davis County School District is going to shut down a school in Sunset, but I think they've already said that they're going to repurpose it. So again, it would require eminent domain. So we couldn't take that over.
That one, they're shutting down the one right next to the juvenile detention
Mhm.
facility, I believe, and they're repurposing into making the juvenile detention facility larger. I think.
This is
I'm
the
not-
one in Sunset.
Sunset, yeah. Yeah, they're right next door to each other.
Are the requirements, I'm assuming the requirements from the state have a certain bed capacity based on the estimated population of homeless.
Yeah, that changes according to each year's survey, how many bed capacity we need. At
Do we
current,
know what the current?
yeah,
survey
at
is?
current, I think we need to have on any given night capacity for 79 beds.
So yes, your question, we do need money, but we could also do military Connex choose. They make them into like little mini apartments and they put them right
You'd
next to
have
each
to-
other.
What I heard you say first off was this was just code blue for low temperature.
Yes.
Yeah,
So isn't this something that would just be provided when it meets that criteria, not an ongoing thing?
Yeah, that's a good point. It is, the mandate is to have something available on Code Blue events. Unfortunately, we don't have anything
That-
available, period. And
Yeah,
so
like
that's the
some,
question.
like we can't pitch a tent every time we have a code
Right.
blue. How often do we have? Well, we don't know that, but
You don't
have
know
like
year to year. This
couple-
year's
this
expected
is
to
just
have-
seasonal.
Yeah, it is. We do not have a requirement to have anything in summer.
I feel like we're about to have a couple code blues here coming.
I believe
next
we'll
few
probably
days.
have a
So,
few this
so
week.
the state wants us to have a certain amount of beds available for code blues during the winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming even if they did provide funds, it's probably gonna be one-time funds. And then it's gonna be all the cities floating the bill to maintain something that we need,
Yeah.
potentially a portion of the winter.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Chief, did you have something to throw in?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because first responders are all notified when that happens. They have a little bit different protocol with indigent services at that time.
So what do we do now? Like, what do we do now from when we come across someone that's, yeah, Chief, I'm looking at you.
Not pretend to be different, but what I felt a little bit strange that things the mayor had talked about, those were outlined in the law, but it also said that once it got below that level, law enforcement could take action to
Right.
move.
We can't force them.
So as you brought up, like someone sleeping in a tent, if they were, let's say, in violation of some sort of urban camping law, we could not move them on a code blue.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, when we get a code blue now, and we're aware of a homeless person that's not in a car or something like that in the city, what do we do now?
I can. So what we do now is the county recommends we're supposed to find a way to get them to a shelter. And we're not required to do that for another year, but we are required after that to get them to some kind of safe shelter if they're willing to go. And that has been a big problem in other areas, is if they say, no, I won't leave, even though they may freeze to death in their tent, we can't force
Well,
them.
I understand that, and I understand for the
Mayor?
future of it, I just mean
Yeah.
like, just now, like. we
We've
have
become into
people
a
out-
full-blown discussion. haven't
So,
we?
yeah, I was going to say, if you want, we can, frame this discussion and have an agenda item, having an extended
idea.
discussion on it at a work session, if you like.
Yeah, really, I just need for next week some feedback from our council of how we would.
Yeah, the state needs to help
generally-
us.
That's what I need at this point. I don't think that we're going to get anything more until I get the COG feedback. But as I said, we've had a committee ongoing stream of communication, and they're asking us to just chat with council in our next meeting. So that's what we're doing. So no decisions are being made. We can't, it isn't a city issue per se. It's a county issue. We all have to work together to solve it. And I will take your feedback back to COG. All right, thank you. At this point, we are done for the evening. I will say that I told you all there would be a lot of things to deal with in the first part of the year. This agenda was longer, but some of the things that we had on the agenda solved themselves, so they fell off. Same thing goes for next agenda, which is looking large at the moment, but if some of them resolve themselves before we get to a council meeting, then we'll have a more enjoyable evening. So just letting you know where we're at, what the anticipation is. So without further ado, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Yeah, it was coming down a second ago, like I couldn't even see the parking lot, but it's light right now.
But.
Pardon me? Yeah.